You mentioned that it was in your late 20s, then, like with the context of assimilation, that um, you had this sparked interest in reconnecting. Do you want to share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I've actually written about this, and I just found it on Google Books. But a friend of mine put together this collection of personal narratives. He
Mhm.
wrote a book on Filipino American psychology, and decided to do a part two where he asked people that he knew, about 30 or 40 people, to just basically write about parts of their personal story, and then he connected it to themes from the Filipino American psychology book. And so I wrote for the section on identity, and what I focused on was that, the sort of irony of being a Philippine American studies professor now, um, whereas before that had, never had entered my mind. There was this growing recognition of the role of culture and social issues in health, and, why it is that we had to, as professionals, but also as community members, to recognize the role of culture in both creating the conditions for good health, but also in addressing disparities. And what I found is that, colleagues of mine could talk about, the influence of their culture, whether it be, if they were Spanish speaking, or they were African American or Native, but I started to notice there weren't a whole lot of voices that talked about the influence of being an Asian immigrant. Then I'd started to develop an interest in going to the Philippines, and my father noticed and said that, he'll be the one to take me back.